and with the way things happened at the BAFTAs, it certainly would surprise no one to be talking about it. So,
I thought it would be one of those goofy episodes where I talk about how much British TV I watch, so much so that I watch the BAFTAs.
We're gonna load it in the front of the episode.
That's
he
right.
forgot.
Yeah. It'll be the clip.
He told us to get back on the call so that he could say this one part. So.
Right.
Today on Take It Personal, the BAFTAs were supposed to be calm, and then the night went sideways. We're talking about the broadcast controversy and what the winds say about sinners, one battle after another. And we're going to take a little time to talk about the movie that most wrecked us, Hamnet.
I love that hat.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit worried about this hat.
Why?
Okay. I support small businesses.
Correct.
I think it's important to you. This is a small Virginia business that does rebrands of Virginia material. So I have all different colorways, but I'm like, is this legal? I don't. When I look at your website and your Instagram and how long it took to ship, I don't know if I should be promoting it.
Right.
The MLB absolutely did not sign off on this font.
No, probably not. I would guess that's a correct statement.
We have a tight agenda. Are you surprised by our agenda today, Jamie?
I was, yes and no. I mean, the topics that we will lay out were, I mean, they're worthy topics. So, and with the way things happened at the BAFTAs, it certainly would surprise no one to be talking about it. So,
But I don't think we knew that when we planned the agenda, did we? I don't think so.
I thought it would be one of those goofy episodes where I talk about how much British TV I watch, so much so that I watch the BAFTAs because I enjoy it and it's so calm and nothing ever happens and it's just a celebration of the arts. And yet here we are.
I don't think it's quite the Will Smith smack heard round the world, but it's.
Wait, hold on.
Good.
Slow down. That was internal Black stuff.
That was wild.
But that was internal Black problems. The BAFTAs was not internal problems. That's the problem.
It was certainly external.
And it's different. And let me go one step further than Will. I only watched that shit for you. I was watching that shit for Jamie because I was like, he says he has to watch all these damn awards. I'm like, hold on, I'm gonna watch it. Watch the BAFTAs.
To clarify, I really only watch the SAG Awards. I watch some of the Oscars. I don't always watch. It's very rare that I watch the BAFTAs.
Audience, I don't know if he was specific about that before.
Yeah, I probably wasn't. I probably wasn't specific enough for you. But the only one that I have a voting stake in. In fact, I voted today. Actually, are for the SAG Awards. Yeah, so it was interesting for sure. I didn't catch the thing in its entirety. I watched each individual acceptance speech. I watched the incident. I watched the opening kind of monologue / intro to the whole thing, which was very British. And then I did some red carpet perusal of some of the outfits worn. So that was my initial impression of the BAFTAs is that it's very British. It's a very different award show. Will and I were just talking about it than the Oscars. The Oscars tend to be real uptight. And the fallout from the ceremony, there's a couple of layers to it. Some editing choices that I was a little surprised by. And some inclusions and some exclusions that were pretty interesting to me. How did you guys consume the award show?
We did the entire red carpet because I got confused about the time because I was like, oh, it's England, so we got to get on early. So we ended up watching the entire red carpet, which was actually fun. I feel like one, like the male presenter, like interviewer, I think he figured out how to do his job about halfway through the whole red carpet thing. It was very entertaining, but he clearly relaxed at a certain point, and his interviews got a lot nicer. So we got to see a lot of that. But it was great. I feel like it's always kind of the first award show that I actually pay attention to in awards season. So it's like a nice warm up, even though I have learned that a lot of the winners of the BAFTAs don't necessarily translate to the Oscars. So it's really not predictive.
Correct.
But it's medium.
I saw the incident come across my timeline and I immediately opened YouTube and was like, clip me, clip me, clip me, clip me. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? And at the same time had just finished Hamnet. So it was like, had just finished Hamnet, was sitting on the edge of the bed processing or not, or cycling. Who knows what was going on in that moment? And then was like, what do you mean slur? I'm like, what do you mean Tourette's? And so that is how I then started to go back. And then I saw like the first thing I saw was a surprise upset. And I still don't think I understand it. But it was, I think, Robert Aramayo for Best Actor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't think he thought he was supposed to win. And I was like, that was my first like moment where I was like, oh, this is so interesting because anything could happen. This is like a roll of the dice, which does not feel like most award shows that I watched. So then I watched Coogler because it just started to look like on black people who are on Threads were like, Coogler's kicking ass right now. And I was like, oh, what's happening there? And then went down a thread of Coogler. And so I consumed the little bits that I needed to in order to get to the incident. But I think it was enough for me to know that I will watch that again. It was kind of chaotic. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree
And
with
then,
that.
oh, also Frankenstein. I'm going to watch it now. You got me. Like, you brought me in. I wasn't going to do that. But if you did that well with craft design, let's see. I'm going to watch it. So
You must watch Frankenstein. Yeah, I have
okay.
been dying for this Frankenstein because it is the closest to the actual book, and the book is incredible. One of the best books ever written. And it has pissed me off that no one has done an even reasonably close version of it ever. And this one is pretty good. Like, it's pretty much there.
Before we get into this, we're not repeating the slur that was said on stage. We'll refer to it as a racial slur or the N-word, and we're focusing on impact and accountability.
How do we want to start this? What do we want to start? We want to start with the incident because I feel like that's going to be a big chunk of this episode is the incident, right?
We could. Yeah.
So let me first start by saying the way that Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo handled that really was I can't imagine standing up there and hearing that and just continuing on and being able to stay as composed as they stayed composed. Then my second thought was, as some of the other presenters awards people got up there, I thought to myself, well, how are they able to stay focused and in the moment when the threat of this happening again is out there? But
it's called acting, Jamie.
Well, after the first 25 minutes into the show, what's his name actually left. He took himself out. The BAFTA people didn't. So I think he had 4 incidents where he yelled stuff out. And then he stood up and took himself out. The BAFTA people didn't take him out. He removed himself, which thank God. This show is not just about you. I understand you wanted to be there. You're creating a situation now. And like I said, my thought was, how can, Ryan Coogler, when I watched Ryan Coogler, and this is before I knew that he removed himself from the audience, I thought, man, he's got to be on edge. Like,
so he had already left by the time like the apology came.
So what's his name apologized twice. He said
John
it twice.
Davidson. Is that what
No.
who we're talking?
John
Or are you
Davidson
talking?
is the Tourette's sufferer, is the
Yeah,
Tourette's
right.
guy who said the things. What's his name? Alan Cumming
Yeah.
apologized twice during the awards.
Oh,
Hey,
yes, he did.
we have the this is the day. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
One of those apologies was less successful than the other, and we'll we're sorry if you're offended. It doesn't quite cut it, my friend. But you're in the moment. You're off the cuff. You're scrambling, and God knows what's going through your head. So you know, but that could have been handled a little bit better. But yes, so the guy he said a couple of things during when he was reading the book about new people at the BAFTAs. I don't know if you saw that. He's like, and Billy wins the award and comes up and you hear boring. That was the guy, the Tourette's dude. Then he said something like, shut the fuck up, cunt, and another thing. And then he said something else. And then he dropped the N-bomb when you just can't drop the N-bomb.
This is I guess this gets my first question and curiosity, and we can get to the reaction and stuff like that. But it's should he just not have come, or should from what I understand, no one was really told that this could be a possibility, because it's these are all professionals, right? Professional actors, writers, directors, they all know what to expect. So it's is there a reasonable accommodation that could have been made so people are just aware that this might happen, and it's just kind of it's just going to go on, and we're going to be chill, and we're going to censor it on the broadcast, and everyone's going to be cool so this guy can enjoy the night as much as we enjoy the night. If he feels uncomfortable, he can leave. Is there a real accommodation that could have been made for him?
They actually told people as they entered the auditorium that there was someone with Tourette's, and more specifically coprolalia, which is a form of Tourette's, and that there is a possibility that there could be some inappropriate outbursts from John Davidson as they entered and sat down.
To be clear, he is a Tourette's advocate, and he was the subject of a film, I swear.
Yes.
And that's how he came to fruition. But he is not a celebrity or industry power
Correct.
broker. He is a regular human who got to come to this because he's the subject of a film.
Correct.
That puts me in a that's tough.
How do you say no?
That is not the function. What?
How do you say no to that? It's a normal person.
I'm sorry. My initial reaction is no. You're not. This is not for normal people. This is a award ceremony that's going to be broadcast to the world and is for the power brokers, famous, and the awards committee that's giving it out. And he raises too high of a risk in having him there. That's my first reaction, is it's an easy no if he is putting anything at risk that's going to be a global broadcast. I think the other thing that I'm thinking about is it was a hard reaction for the audience and world to hear, but I think the people on stage who were dealing with it deal with it every day. And I think it was this is about right. This is about the state of things. Is you can be in the middle of winning your greatest prize and still hear that in the middle of it. And that is what the rise within the world right now is as a brown person. And so there was a reaction where I was like, yeah, they're going to sweep. That's right. But along the sweep, there's going to be something quite embarrassing. I mean, I hate, and my other trigger was this is Moonlight. This is the night that Moonlight won, and it was the most confusing night ever. And then it was Moonlight went from, and I won't say any slurs in this particular episode, which is a change, but it went from the gay movie to the movie that was misrepresented as winning that year. And I was like, those are the two storylines that hit me the most about Moonlight. And I was like, at least it's not that bad. So in the scale of things that have happened, I'm like, it's not great. But that guy should never have been there. And that's what I like dug into. I was like, why is he there? I was like, I don't. Plenty of people's lives are taken as pieces for movies all the time. Why are you in the room, my guy? Like,
Yeah.
I don't, and a lot of people are dead, so they can't be in the room. That's what I was confused about. Was like, wait, you knew the risk. He was not famous, nor did he have power. So you were doing him a solid at the risk of women and apparently brown people. I didn't even hear the other one that you said, Jamie, that he
Yeah.
screamed before. I missed that
Oh, yeah.
one, but like, what? That was
So
my entire reaction to it. Was
I think once again, the powers that be in Hollywood and filmmaking and entertainment and corporations in general, the uppity ups in the
entertainment,
corporate world,
corporate. Yep.
they are not graced with a whole lot of bright forethought, right?
Or
Their thought
nuance.
their thought process is, "Ooh, this is a cool moment. Oh, this is a cool moment. He has Tourette's, whatever." They never in a million years did enough research to understand what that possibility could mean. Now, he certainly knew.
Oh, he did.
So it was a risk to, I mean, you got to have a muzzle on or something if you're going to present yourself out there and know that this could really end up being a very embarrassing moment for you. A very embarrassing moment for
People
you.
have Tourette's, with like cousins with Tourette's, y'all. Like it's one of
Yeah,
those things where I'm like,
right.
you do. There are a lot of people with Tourette's, like athletes, and like they're like, oh, girl, I can't go out. Like
Yeah,
it's
right,
well known with
right,
adult sufferers. And it's like I will say my Negro thoughts in the white world with my
right,
Tourette's, and I'm like,
right.
okay, let's stay home. Yeah, we're gonna do
Yeah,
this. We're gonna be here and
right,
watch the game. Like that. That's why I couldn't square it in my mind, is because
right,
I've been around adults with it. I'm like, you live a different life as a result. But that is the exclusivity that we grew up in. And
right.
I recognized in that moment, I was like, oh, when we stayed home, apparently that was us being exclusive. And now we live in an inclusive society.
Right. We've got this very, it's where we're supposed to be very tolerant. Now we're becoming very tolerant.
It got me.
Tourette's, only 10% of Tourette's sufferers suffer from coprolalia, which is the swearing version of it. 90% of Tourette's sufferers don't just yell out swears or curse words or inappropriate phrases. It's a very limited amount of people. It's mostly physical tics. Most of them are physical tics. It's this odd, we don't, the Americans with Disabilities Act says he should be included, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
he shouldn't be, people with Tourette's shouldn't have to not go out to dinner because at any moment they're going to yell out, suck my dick in the middle of a restaurant.
I've
It's not,
experienced that. Yep.
it's hard to, it's a thing, but you hope that as mature adults, you go, oh, he's got Tourette's, moving on. Let's, I teach the girls, 4-year-old and 7-year-old. We listen to music all the time. These are words that adults say. You're not to say them, period. You're going to hear your friends say them on the playground. That doesn't mean that you can say them, right? So you kind of, I don't know, man. That's a tough thing. Now, when we get to what he said at the moment that he said it to the people that he said it to, I mean,
It's tough. It's
whoa,
tough. Yeah, that's tough.
I as a white male went, and like I said, I had to like build up some to be able to even watch the moment, let alone stand up there and take it. And I can't imagine it. Just I, so
It does make me wonder if he like didn't want to go. There's a tiny part of me that is curious, like if someone was like, no, this movie is about educating people about Tourette's and like it'll be such a special moment, and like I know I'm like positing and like trying to come up with excuses for this, but it's like it does feel like one of those naive altruistic moments where someone is like, no, like think of how special it'll be that he can go. Because I mean, you guys are right. I mean, how often do just normal people or subjects of movies get to go to award shows?
Almost
Very,
never.
very rarely. As the person too, how often would they actually say no? But in this case, it's like he was probably like, yo, I don't know, man. Like this, it just feels, I don't know, the more and more I hear about it, the more and more I start to think that there was probably a bit of dragging in, because
There's a
a very,
story.
yeah, like a very personal moment that happened related to this is someone that I work with. There was like a morning phone call. We were talking about all this different stuff. And this is a guy who's like very high up in our company. And he admitted on the phone call, because we were talking about education around Tourette's and all that sort of stuff. And he admitted he was like, I've never heard this guy emotional in my life. Like his job is not one where you carry emotion into it. He sounded like he could punch a person. He was so mad when he was talking through this. He's also not a person that normally talks on this phone call. All of these things compounding to just this weird moment where it's just kind of like, why is he talking? He had talked about his son has Tourette's. I think he vocalizes and stuff like that. So they have spent huge amounts of money, countless years of therapy, all of these things to try and get it under control, all this stuff. And he just said, I'll probably remember it for a very long time, at least. He says, no one with Tourette's would ever do something like that on purpose.
Will, your plausibility notes is exactly what I needed. Because I am close enough and far enough away where I'm like, there is like the Coldplay couple incident. At the end of that, I was like, well, what's the story, Morning Glory? Because that is not how that works in general. So, like,
That's Oasis, by the way.
what are the
What's the story, Morning Glory?
no? Well, it is Oasis. It's not Coldplay. I'm so sorry. The Coldplay incident with the couple who was cheating, and it made me worry and wonder that question. Oasis is so great. You get me
Sorry.
on that tangent. Don't do that right now. But those are the plausible steps that had to happen. That the power brokers and the media world and the awards committee and him had a conversation, because you just would have to. And you're right, there has to be negotiations around your lived experience and what you know when you experience stress and this opportunity. And I think that it brings more plausibility to how it happened. Other side note, I am an Alan Cummings Wild supporter. I shouldn't be. I love him so much. I love his art. I love where he takes things and is comfortable going. And I think he will always work as a result of it. He does crisis management in a very surly way. And I was like, this is not the night, Alan, for the dryness. But I was like, but it's still Alan. And Alan actually is well equipped to handle a slur and to calm us down during it. And I actually think it helped. If it had come from a cisgender male, I don't think anyone would want to hear that shit. Or a woman. I don't think anyone would want to hear it. And I think Alan's approach was a little bit like, that was bad, settle down, the world is burning. Remember, I just said that at the beginning. Right. I said that shit. And so he actually calmed me down because who he's centered as. He is centered as other. So I was like, it actually does help. It's not quite if a Black woman was standing up and presenting, but it worked for the moment for me to hear it from him. I might put him in my mind. Yeah.
And if you contextualize that into the fact that they were in England, I think it makes a lot more sense too, because the English are just very like, I'm coming straight at you. I'm going to tell you to shut up and sit down. And I'm not being mean. It's stiff upper lip. Like Jamie and I were joking about it before you got on, Steph, that it's like, I love British stuff. I find it so hilarious because they'll have like this, like a hint of a tear coming in their eye. And they're like, dear God, I'm so sorry for being so emotional right now. I must excuse myself. This is absolutely unacceptable. It's like, I'm like bawling, crying because my dog was extra cute this morning. You know, it's like they're so emotionally like restricted, but just direct, extremely direct in what they say. So I think contextualizing it, it makes sense. But again, it's like, does that make it okay?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it makes it easier for me to swallow.
Well,
and I tend to align with that British aesthetic. I worked for a company that was UK based, and I thrived there because they could separate the emotions from the objectivity. And I was like, this company really functions well because it's not driven by whatever you're feeling in your stomach that day.
Mhm.
American companies do not have that discipline. And I tell them every single day that they don't have the discipline of UK-based companies. To their face, I say it every day. I'm like, I miss that UK-based company that was small and private and well disciplined in what we're objectively doing. And that's why I think I responded. You hit on something that for me, really I align to in that way. So that's true.
The world is a messy, messy place, right? So to have capable people in positions to be able to handle the messiness is really kind of lovely. You mentioned the La La Land Moonlight situation. I just for some reason that popped up in my head, and I just watched that whole sequence of events again, and the whole thing was so weird. All right, accidents happen. We get that. But the way it transpired on stage was so confusing.
Poorly
And
handled.
nobody stepped up to the mic and said, hey, hold on, reset. Everybody take a breath. Here's what's going on. Let's bring up the folks from Moonlight. I really apologize. There was a switch. It just was this chaos. And then one director takes it, goes, no, seriously, you guys won. Come on up. It was fucking weird. And Jimmy Kimmel's wandering around like I don't know what's going on. And Warren Beatty, he's wandering around like he just got out of the geriatric ward. I'm like, what's happening
Forgot
right
about
now?
Beatty. Yeah, he was wilding that night.
Oh my God. And I'm just like,
Didn't he have the thing and he was just like walking
yeah, he's like,
around holding it up?
uh.
All right, so I got another question about this then to change it
Okay.
just a little bit. Why did the words come through in broadcast? It was on a 2-hour tape delay. This is not live where someone's got to hit that button the second it happens, where it's like a 5-second delay. They had 2 hours, long enough for WBD to complain and it not be acted on. This one I've got nothing for. I can't fathom why those words weren't censored out. It's not like it provides context to why people are acting awkward because, like you said, Jamie, it's like the people who were the sort of like bore the fuck it, like the people who had to deal with this were total pros.
Yeah.
Didn't break, if anything, barely flinched, kept rolling. If you hadn't heard what was in the background, you wouldn't have even known that there was something there. So how did this get through? Can someone please explain this to me?
They had the ability. The only thing that I can think of, and I can't imagine that they don't have the technology to do that, is that they didn't want to interrupt the presenters in that moment. I don't know. I have no good reason for that. I mean, you can bleep it out because I guess, as they were saying it, they went silent when they heard it. Delroy stopped mid words and then continued on. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that. They're taking a whole lot of heat for it, for sure. It's bad news, man. It's bad.
I got nothing on this one.
I think the first 15 minutes we did a great job of copying pleas for everyone involved. And then there's the other half of this, which is like, why did the three of us ever see this?
Right.
None of us are worthy in any way to have consumed what we consumed. And it is an unfortunate decision to have made. And like, how much good press does WBD get these days? Like for them to be like, oh, the good guys this week, I was like, oh, shit's fucked up. If they're the ones speaking out for truth and justice during Black History Month, I was like, this is tough, y'all. It's tough. The rough 2026 Black History Month is what I'm saying. And
well, I mean, the only thing that I can think of is, hey, any publicity is good publicity, right? They want to generate. They want to generate eyes. Have someone drop an N-bomb while Michael B. Jordan is up on stage.
17 audio articles. I consumed them all. And all of them were just the same press release from WBD about the grievances done to Michael the Beautiful Jordan. Yeah. And I was like, that's great.
if I'm ever going to wear a tux, I need to look like that. That man's, oh my God.
you're also missing $20,000 of David Yurman around your body. Like you're gonna need more than just the suit.
God,
it's a lot.
the cut of his jib that was incredible, dude. I was just like, damn, you look good. God damn.
I watched him every single day on All My Children as a child.
Did you really?
Every single day. He was the greatest. He was terrible, but he was amazing and a revelation, even when he was 12. And all of his success is so well deserved.
So wait, did he do The Wire first, or did he do All My Children? He did The Wire.
All My
first,
Children.
right?
No,
really?
All My
I
Children.
thought The Wire discovered him.
No.
No.
It discovered them for prestige TV, but Hose knew him. Me and my sister knew. We knew that he was. Erica Kane was dating Montgomery. He was a rich guy. Erica Kane, we all know who Erica Kane is. You know who Erica Kane is, don't you, Will?
No clue.
You never watched General Hospital, huh?
Negative.
All My Children, but he didn't watch General Hospital. Susan Lucci, the person who has lost the most in daytime history for soap operas, she was Erica Kane, and an amazing character. She was dating this guy, Montgomery Ward, I believe his name was, Reggie Montgomery. Anyways, he adopted a black child out of nowhere, and this is Michael B. Jordan, and it is the greatest thing of the early 90s and mid 90s. That entire summer was like, Eric's just dating this rich white man who adopted this black kid who's a genius. And Sinners, they won for writing, they won for score, they won for supporting actress, but they did not win Best Film. And I was like, and so this is the stuff that pisses me off. This pisses me off with the Recording Academy. And I saw this again, and I was like, so why do you check all of these boxes, but then you're not Best Film? But also, I was like, Sinners really was kicking ass, just in general.
Yeah. The answer to that question is both political, and I also think that it does, for me, all I can speak to is how I watch a movie. When I watch a movie, I watch a movie we talked about this the last time we recorded. I watch a movie for the forest, right? Not for the trees. I want the general effect of the movie and how it makes me feel, right? And if in that I experience some of the trees as well along the way, then I think we've got a complete film. If I'm watching a movie and all I see are the trees, then I feel like it's taking me out of that world. Right? Does that make sense?
It does, and I think series do that a lot. Series will take you out of your world for the sake of character development, which is why I tend to lean on series, because I want more character development than storytelling that movies give. So that analogy works perfectly in my mind.
Right. So for me, Sinners, there were some things about Sinners that were just so stand out that they couldn't be denied, right? The music of that movie could not be denied. The cultural impact of that movie and the groundbreaking nature of that movie couldn't be denied. Winmu's performance, to me, she was the best thing about that movie, hands down. I like Delroy Lindo, and I like the guy that played the guitar, and I can't remember what his name is, the young kid. But it was his first role, and from a pure acting perspective, he was good, but it wasn't Academy Award winning material. I don't, it's like when you watch the Les Mis movie and you hear them sing and you're like, oh, that's pretty good. But then you hear the people on stage in London sing Les Mis and you go,
100%.
Oh, that's what it's supposed to sound like.
Every time.
Right?
Yeah.
So his acting was good, but all right.
And it is a rivalry between Sinners and One Battle After Another, right? Like
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
But in Sinners,
whoa, is there like a beef here?
I have my own issues with One Battle After Another, which we can get to in just a second.
Let's get into because they're not the same, but they're both winning big.
I did finally watch it. So I watched One Battle After Another, Jamie, and I was like, I remember watching it, and I was like, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Exactly. I was like, Leonardo DiCaprio was clearly in this movie. as he is every movie, just with different hair,
Right.
different lines. Definitely Leonardo DiCaprio's in. I thought it was great. I thought Sean Penn was pretty damn good in it. I was pretty blown away by his. There were a number of things in it that just completely killed it for me, though. That I was like, oh, you ruined the whole. And I don't want to like give a lot away. I don't know. I also don't want to steal your thunder. So let me shut up. You go.
So Sinners, number one, I have to preface this by saying that Ryan Coogler is one of my you put your work goals on a kind of whiteboard, and working with Ryan Coogler in any way, shape, or form is one of mine, because he's just such a cool dude. He just is. As far as genius goes, I mean, I would say he's as close to genius as you can get without having an actual format to fit a genius person in. I could listen to him talk forever. His accent is probably the coolest thing I've ever heard. It's just such a, and everybody that's worked with him says the same thing, that he is down to get dirty and get into the work and really, collaborate. And that to me is what makes a good director. Somebody that's willing to not say, I'm the director and this is my word and my word is Bond. That's it. To have somebody that's willing to get in there and play around, I think that's the best kind of director as far as an actor is concerned. So him getting the original screenplay, I think, is just amazing, because it really is, to me, an original screenplay is so much harder to do than an adapted screenplay. I've adapted screenplays before, or not screenplays, but I've adapted stage, something from a book to a stage production. And it's not easy, but it's certainly not, to me, as intensive as creating something from scratch, which he did. So there's a lot of things about Sinners that I really enjoyed. Is it the best movie of the year? Not to me, it's not. And is Michael B. Jordan the best actor of the year? I think Michael B. Jordan is an excellent actor. I think the fact that he's playing twins is automatically puts him in the conversation. It's like playing somebody that's mentally handicapped. You're gonna get considered for the Academy. It just is. It is what it is. It happened with Tilda Swinton a couple of years ago when she played like 4 different characters in a movie where she was insane, which, again, just like any other,
typecast.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. One battle after another. So here's my thing. I loved Sean Penn in it. I could have watched an entire movie about Benicio del Toro's character and the
Oh, fuck yeah.
that whole side thing that he had going on. That I found incredibly interesting. I thought it was a good movie. I really ultimately didn't care about Leonardo DiCaprio's character. He just didn't. I just, would I watch it again? Nah, probably not. I probably would never watch that movie. Number one, it's 3.5 hours or something crazy like that. And that's a lot of time to commit to a movie that doesn't, like you said, Steph, a series gets into the minutia of character. You can't do that in a film. So I don't know. It just didn't. I don't think it's the best picture of the year at all. It's probably my least favorite of the ones that are nominated for the Academy. And again, that's with the preface that I have not watched Frankenstein, or Begonia. I haven't watched either of those yet. I liked Marty Supreme better than I liked One Battle After Another. I liked Sinners better than I liked One Battle After Another. I think they're pretty close.
I think Tiana Taylor's the best thing about One Battle After Another, and even her character.
She's just on screen, just so little.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I wanted her to come back at the end.
Yeah,
I don't think it's well used, but she is getting adulation for it, and I'm like, this is weird. So it's been a weird ride, because I'm like, a decade ago, in a Facebook profile that's taken down now for the best, I ranted at Kanye, tagged him about how he is failing Tiana Taylor under Good Music in like 2012 when she was on his label. And I was like, she is the most talented singer and dancer available within R&B, and you're just letting her languish. And then Charlemagne the God clearly saw my Facebook post from 2012 and asked Kanye about it. So I have had a long history of being like, Oh, I hate that Tiana Taylor's career is in the hands of men who clearly don't care. That was the initial impression of watching that character in the
Yeah.
movie. And then the adulation came, and I was like, I'm going to shut the F up and clap for Tiana Taylor. And that is where I am with that movie. But I know Sinners is a very different, and Kugler's a very different animal. But comparison and conflation is happening a lot right now with those two movies,
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed.
I think that sucks too, frankly, because, a Paul Thomas Anderson film is fucking wild
Very
and
different.
crazy and insane, right? And Sinners does it. It's Paul, the one battle after another. Is it a drama? Is it a comedy? Is it satire? What are we looking at here? It's not any of those things. It's all of those things. Sinners. Is it a musical? Is it a horror? Is it where does it fit in? It doesn't really fit in. So when you compare the two, it just doesn't. It doesn't. It really doesn't fit. The comparison doesn't make any sense to me. It's comparing ribeye steak with an apple, and how do they? It's not even the same thing, man. It's just not even close. So it's a you know
That's meaningful.
awards are
Yeah.
stupid anyway. I mean, honestly, how many things do they exclude? They exclude things all the time because it doesn't fit a specific genre. I mean, my God, The Bear is in Best Comedy in the SAG Awards. The Bear,
What's
it's not a
funny about
comedy.
No.
it's not.
It
It's
just
not
doesn't
funny at
fit.
all.
It doesn't fit, man. So
Every time Jamie Lee Curtis comes on the screen in The Bear, my entire stomach drops, and I'm like, I don't want to
absolutely,
do this. I don't.
yeah.
My mommy issues are too deep that I can't do the Jamie Lee Curtis character in that. That's why it's not funny to me. Because I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's great.
yeah. I totally agree. So, Paul Thomas Anderson's another one. Him getting the director. I mean, all right.
Weird, I
It does.
guess.
I
Yeah,
don't
like
think
how do
so.
you
With
measure
no
that?
edits.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what?
Right.
Like that was such a yeah. I think that was where I was left so confused. I think in my text to you, JB, was literally just like, can you please explain to me how this movie won so many awards? Like in England over Hamnet.
Yeah.
Like how? Because I did, I texted you about it too. Watched Hamnet, and to me, had the same reaction as you. It was like, oh, there are all these really amazing movies this year, and then there's Hamnet. My first reaction was I did not realize they made movies this good anymore. I didn't realize how much of the story is set up for you as you go along, right? So it's like the scene where, spoiler alert, by the way, if you didn't read history or the summary of the movie, the part where when Hamnet is dying, I didn't realize it until they made it so painfully clear in the end that he's on the stage, the actual set stage in the end and everything. Like the way that the story like takes these leaps and callbacks and puts it forward is just such beautiful filmmaking. So for me, it was like such a great complete package of a film. But then there's the emotional excuse me, sorry. Apparently I'm getting choked up again. The emotional layering of the story, because the first half to me, or the first three quarters almost, is very heavy with Agnes or Anne Hathaway, right? Her emotions are building the story, and Shakespeare is very much kind of like a sidecar to it. And then it all builds to this point where he delivers it in the end, and then they come back together for that final last scene. And this is where I'm like, oh, I finally understand Shakespeare now, because when he's standing there facing the river and he drops the to be or not to be, I was like, okay, we're going to do this now. Like, great. I've heard this a million times. In about 2 seconds into it, I was like, oh, this is not about some kid, Hamlet, pondering the death of his father and what it's like to be alive or dead. He's thinking about killing himself. I was like, holy shit, we are almost a half a millennium from when this guy was alive. And I'm sitting here on the couch with Paige, our dogs, William Shakespeare, and Anne Hathaway grieving his child. Like he's here with us. His writing was so good. he changed the collective consciousness of the world with his story and the way that we view life, death, parenthood, all of these things. And I know not every person is going to see this movie, all those things, whatever. It was so impactful to me. And it just layered in all of these things, like watching Ryan Coogler's acceptance speech about writing the screenplay and his community being such a big part of encouraging him to be a writer. He's like, I didn't even know I could be a writer until my community encouraged me to do it. And then I did it. So he's like, anyone who wants to be a writer, it's all of these things. It just compounded into, this wasn't just a movie. It was like a statement about art to me. And I know I'm probably blowing it up way bigger than it is. I cried like a child and I loved every second of it. It was so, so good. That's all I have.
I completely know where you're coming from. Despite that not being how I felt at the end, I was like, she's human scale intimacy. That movie did that so well. Where as someone who has sat in all many forms, but not the form of losing a child, but the many forms of grief, I was like, how many people kept going in this movie? Because most people can't really deal with this level of grief and sadness and prestige sadness in cinema. So I do wonder how many people got through it. And I was really boistered by like reactions that I saw of like, oh, this changed it. And then I thought, why are people able to get through this? And I was like, because it's Hamlet. And I think it's easier for us to digest that he was one of the greatest writers of our time. But if this was about no one, would we want to sit in that grief and that storyline in the same way? Was like what I was trying to work through. Because I was like, as someone who doesn't care about Shakespeare and doesn't really respect him more than I say respect Jay-Z, I'm like, yeah, our poets, they all did things. They scaled their storytelling and did it well. That's where but I set him up there with the greatest poets that may have changed the world. I've been trying to figure out why this one hits. And I was like, it is because of the backstory. Like Mel Gibson ruined Hamlet for me as a child on HBO because it was on every freaking day. On HBO in the 90s, that version of Hamlet was on all the time. And at the end of it, I was like, now I got to go back and watch like a really good performance of Hamlet to make this work in my mind because I don't respect Hamlet the story like that because Mel Gibson ruined it.
I have to touch on this just because it's forefront of my mind. And Stephanie, you said something earlier about other with Alan Cumming and the representation. Talk about a time where the U.S. needed a representation of others, and the female skating sensations that happened in Italy. I just am so moved by it. And Alyssa Liu and that whole crew, and just watching her performance. I don't know a damn thing about skating, but I do know that watching her on the ice was just different. It was smooth and it was beautiful and it was lovely and it was different, and everything about it, from her visual impact to the music selection, and then her whole being off the ice, and then the interviews that she did. It was just the right time, the right performance, the right person. It really was, to me, it was special and awesome. I really enjoyed it. And I don't know if you guys consumed it or not. I didn't watch a ton of the Olympics. I watched a few things, but that really stood out to me kind of as the moment for, what did we win? 12 gold medals?
Mm-hmm.
8 of them were won by women.
That note, I had not done the math on that one. That is so
8 gold medals by women.
What I liked about Alyssa was I was like, where'd she go to school? I was like, where's she at? Stanford, Harvard. And when they said she was at UCLA, I was like, oh, she doesn't. I was like, oh, she's real. She's a real,
Yeah.
like, woman of the people.
Yeah.
And she skated like it and she acted like it. And as soon as she starts her YouTube channel, I will be right there. Mm-hmm. It was all I could think was like, you don't have to do this anymore. You are entertaining enough off the ice that I will probably watch you just for fun. And I don't think she has to go that route because she brought so much, and she's so young that I think we'll see her again. But like, yeah, she was a bright spot. And, we frequent places that we really care about our hair as women. And when I saw her, I was like, she is exactly who would be in the chair at one of the salons that Kim or myself would go to. And her aesthetic in general was very American woman. And I don't know why, but I ate it up. It really was like your favorite YouTuber becoming an Olympiad. And you're like riding for this girl every night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good call out, Jamie. I mean, the men won gold too in the Olympics. They just celebrated. Okay. We won't do it. We won't do it. We're staying away from
I mean, we can talk about
No.
it.
Let's not.
Yeah, I just
The official FBI business of celebrating with the hockey team.
That's exactly right. The only thing that I will say about that, because again, you're putting people in these really shitty positions, but we are the most unserious fucking country in the world, that we have the director of the FBI in the locker room in a fucking sweater spraying beer and champagne on everybody. What is happening right now? The director of the FBI, can you imagine? Arthur Blank wouldn't be doing that in a Super Bowl celebration because they can't win one. But even if they did, he would still be in a suit and tie. You know what I mean? I mean, it just is like, you got Donald Trump calling into C-SPAN under his John Barron nickname. You got Pam Bondi, who's, I don't know what she's doing. We are the most. I've got the director of health services wearing jeans, working out with Kid Rock, and sitting in an ice. What's happening right now? How we're not even real. We're a cartoon. We're the Simpsons. We are the Simpsons. I didn't want to go down this path. Damn it, William.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, we're officially Florida of the world now.
Oh,
just
the droopy dick of the world, the
completely unhinged. Yeah, and clearly impotent, and trying to make up for it in every other way possible.
Let's end it on a positive note here. William, what are you looking forward to over the next couple of weeks?
I am drawing a complete fucking blank right now.
I'm gonna go.
No, we got some birthdays. We got some birthdays coming this weekend. We can sister-in-law's having birthday parties. That'll be fun. Just a lot of I think it, just stepping back, being honest, I am really big these days on just unstructured hangout time. I'm just trying to be much better of spending time with the people who are in my life, friends and family, the ones who I love, and just not having an agenda behind it.
Anyway, what am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to, I got a couple of tennis matches coming up. I need some retribution. My last two were, one was good and the other was, I just got wiped out. So I'm looking for a little bit of retribution here.
Do you think they heard the pod and heard you talking about how great you were, and then they came after you?
Oh yeah, of course,
definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you wear a target on your back when you step out like that. I mean, I'm looking forward to the second half of the NBA season. We didn't even get to talk about the All-Star weekend. I mean, what a mess.
It's a lot we got a lot to talk about. The NBA.
I don't know that the NBA wants us to talk about that.
It might be the greatest episode that will never be put up, but we should do it.
I'm looking forward to my daughter, or Violet's, we touched briefly on it, tomorrow night, my daughter's talent show competition. So I'm looking to, competition is a very loose word. It's a talent show more than a competition. So we're looking forward to seeing that. And then my mom's birthday is this weekend too. So we're going to have just a little bit of a kind of get together. Katie's was last night, actually. I cooked for her mom last night. So February is like murderer's row of
A lot of
of birthdays.
Pisces
Yeah.
running around.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And then we've got a lot of Geminis too. We
Yeah.
have a bunch of Gemini birthdays
Okay. Do
as
they
well.
bundle up around the same time?
Yeah. So Katie, her dad, Rosie, they're all right around that June 11th, 12th, 17th kind of area.
Okay. That's a good episode.
Dear God, wait. Tomorrow is my anniversary.
Oh, do not edit this out. Do you hear me?
I'm the one who made the reservations. I led the effort.
Where are you eating?
We're going to Kimball House.
Hell yeah, you are.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a great tie back too, because we used to go to a bunch of the restaurants the guys who opened that place go to. So like the guy who's the owner was like the bartender at our like post rehearsal dinner, like get together, so all that stuff. So it's a nice little throwback, and this will be 14 for us. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Very nice.
Wow.
Get some raw oysters and chicken skins for me.
I'm so glad that you remembered that finally.
Mother of God, me too.
Thank God. I'm
You would
texting
have
Paige as we speak.
Same, actually. That's so funny. We both are. I'm like, girl, he forgot until the last. We're gonna load it in the front of the episode.
That's
he
right.
forgot.
Yes. It'll be the clip.
He told us to get back on the call so that he could say this one part. So.
Right.
Okay, please enjoy your anniversary.
Absolutely, I will.
All right. If you watch the BAFTAs or you've seen Hamnet, tell us what landed for you. And if you've got a take on what accountability should look like in a live broadcast moment, drop it in the comments. We'll see you next week.